I'm here in Utah, outside of St. George, for the launch of the 2024 Jeep Wrangler, and I'm here with this good-looking gentleman. Sir, please introduce yourself and what you do.
Hi, I'm Mark Ramsey. I am the Product Chief Vehicle Engineer for Jeep Wrangler.
And as you can tell, he is not Marcus. He has a far superior jawline and hairline. So from an engineering perspective, let's talk about the core physical changes. Yes, there's exterior and interior changes, which we're going to talk to Jim about. But from a mechanical perspective, can you walk me through frame changes and the focus on safety and NVH reduction?
Yeah, from the changes really on the safety and NVH, but we'll go through the safety first. We do first time full curtain side airbags, first row and second row. And also we've added structural improvements to the body structure for side impact improvements. And also the rear seat occupants on the outboard side have pre-tensioners and load limiters on the seat belts. As far as the NVH improvements on the vehicle, it's quite a few. We've added the windshield header foam all the way around the full perimeter of the windshield to reduce any noise coming or resonating through the windshield. We have laminate side door glass, reducing any noise right there at the occupant or driver's ear, and also carpet dampening elements to help rule out road noise. And equipped with hard tops, you can get an available headliner, and that will combined package reduce 2 to 5 dB of performance. It's phenomenal.
And you combine that, from my understanding, with a brand new microphone array as well, so you can now try to take calls at 70 miles an hour on the highway.
Correct. Yeah, we do have a 7 microphone array. We use beamforming technology, a noise reduction technique with the 7 microphones to be able to pinpoint and eliminate any of the background noise. So now it's crystal clear. There's a 15 dB improvement in clarity as measured on the other side of the call from hands-free.
One of the questions that I'm going to ask you as a follow-up to the safety side, airbags. When do they know to deploy? Because I know that's one of the first questions in the comments. Oh, if you've added new airbags, when I'm off-roading, are they going to randomly deploy? What is the parameter for them to go off? Is it purely impact related, or is it looking at how much tilt you have in the Jeep?
Yeah, it's really an impact threshold. We go through all of our safety testing. There's over 50 impacts that we have performed to ensure that the airbags only deploy at the right time. Just to your point, this is a Wrangler. It's going to go off-road. You cannot have airbags go off when it's off-road.
I mean, it would make things exciting.
Yeah, not in a good way. But absolutely, we've gone through all of the testing to make sure everything occurs safely and the customers are comfortable and confident driving with the doors on or doors off.
Suspension. I know you've made some changes in that regards. Can you walk me through what you did to spring rates and suspension tuning now that this thing has been around for a couple years, and the changes to the rear axle?
Yeah, over the years we've added so many different models on springs and shocks just due to high altitude additions, PHEV additions, all the different additions which can proliferate what you have. So this particular year we really went through the full spread of axles, spring rates and shock absorbers to, just like you said, fine tune and reduce down the complexity that occurs with the proliferation of all the different models. So we've fine tuned everything to be ride equivalent to what we have prior and been able to reduce the part count.
So less complexity in the factory should help make these things a little easier to produce.
Correct.
And then in the rear, you've run to or moved to a new axle technology that's supposed to make this a little bit more capable in towing. Can you walk me through how it's more capable and what it is?
Yeah, for all Rubicon models, we have added the full float heavy duty Dana 44 rear axle. That full float bearing system has 2 bearings on the outside. That's what's carrying the load. So it's basically taking the load off of the axle, which improves the load carrying capability of the axle for any future upgrades. But that also, since the bearings are taking the load, reduces the beaming, and that actually is what enables us to get to the 5,000 pound towing capacity. 5,000 pounds with a Wrangler is phenomenal.
And is that, what brought that change? Was it just something you wanted to improve on now that you have the opportunity to create a, I know you guys aren't calling it, but a mid-cycle refresh, or is that just something you always want to do now that technology became available?
Well, wherever we can improve, and we always try to improve. And that was an area we just wanted to try and do more with.
So with that, I think we're going to bring in Jim and have him walk us through why they made the changes from a marketing perspective. I'm here once again with Jim Morrison, the Senior Vice President of Jeep, and he's going to walk us through why the mid-cycle refresh and their customer-centric attitude. So obviously, new exterior. Can you quickly walk me through visually what's changed about the new Wrangler?
Yeah, sure. You know, Jack, there's a lot of things that go into the new 24. We've listened to a lot of our customers, our journalists, friends. Everybody's been guiding us, into what we wanted from the new 24, and we think we've done it right here for the new Wrangler. So from the outside, clearly recognizable as the next generation Wrangler. You can see the grille has been slimmed down. We actually tried to improve the cooling. This thing will tow 5,000 pounds now, so we had to improve some of the cooling going into the engine. But we wanted to make sure that it was clearly recognizable as the next generation of Wrangler. So we've done that with the grille. And of course, added capability. We can't touch a Wrangler without making it more capable. And we've done that. One of the main things we've done with the Rubicon, you can see here, is the new 8,000 pound Warn winch. So that's one of our customers' biggest ask is, hey, they want the ability to go to the trails they want to go to, don't have to worry about getting stuck. They get themselves stuck, they get themselves out. Or more importantly, it's kind of fun when you help your friend that might not be driving a Jeep, to get out of
or pulling someone out of a snowbank if you live in the Midwest like we do. So for 2024, there's also what seems like a fairly simple comfort addition on the inside, but it's power seats. You can walk me through some of the unique challenges of adding a power seat to a Wrangler?
Yes, you would think, hey, it's 2024. What took you so long? But all of our Jeep Wranglers are trail rated, and water fording is a key hallmark of the trail rated mark that we put on every one of our Wranglers. Put them on both sides now for 2024, another whole story. But they needed to be completely covered and engineered to water ford. So the engineers did a great job, and now you can actually adjust your power seat underwater in your Wrangler. So it's a bit of engineering excellence here with the power seat. Not a simple ad like it is for others.
I know it sometimes sounds like marketing BS, but every single time I've met Jim over the years, all he talks about is off-road capability, and it's clearly something you really, really do care about on a personal note as well.
It is. I've got Wranglers in my driveway. My boys drive Wranglers. My wife drives a Wrangler when she's not driving her dually. and we go wheeling. We have an off-road park literally 5 minutes from our house. We go to Moab every year, and we talk to customers, more importantly. Sometimes we have Jeep stuff on, and sometimes we're just normal customers. But most importantly, we listen, and we try to make it better for them. And, after 82 years, the Jeep brand is still driven by our customers. And that's why, we're really proud to report that the 2024 is just a reflection of what our customers have been asking for. When, for example, it might seem easy, I would just put a big screen on the Wrangler. Well, you know what? It actually came from our customers. We looked at their customers out of Moab, and they were putting their iPads, sticking their iPads, to the dash of their Wranglers because the mapping technology had become so good. That's what they were using to map themselves around the trails. So we were like, hey, we should be able to do that and integrate it so you can see, the Ford cams, all of our off-road pages, and integrate all of that in. In fact, we did a really nice job. We partnered with Trails Off-Road, and we can now get our trails, our badge of honor trails now embedded in your head unit. So it's like having an onboard
GPS
a trail guide, and a little bit of a historian too, because you can kind of see what you're doing on the trail, see where they closed the mine, see where Billy the Kid buried their dog, and get an update from your screen. But most importantly, before you go on the trail, you can see, okay, it's rated a 5 out of 10. You can do it with a stock Wrangler, 33-inch tires, and no problem. So you confidently go onto the trail. Before, customers were like, oh man, I don't know if I can get, I know I can get past that, but I don't know what's at the bottom of the trail. So it's actually really good. Our customers have been asking for it, and we're happy to deliver it for
adding more accessibility to people who want to go off-road.
It is. It's all about our customers, and it's all about off-road. If you do it once a year, great. If you do it once a lifetime, it's great. But you'll always dream about doing it in your Wrangler, and you'll have fun waving at customers in the meantime as you're all dreaming about going off-road.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much, and I think it's time for us to go take this thing for a quick drive. '24 Wrangler 392. So, we've talked to the chief engineer, we've talked to Jim Morrison, one of the heads of Jeep. We've talked to everybody we need to talk about what they've done to this mid-cycle refresh. And their primary goal for this vehicle is to continue to make a Wrangler a very good selling product for Jeep as a brand as a whole, and on top of that as well, they want to make it more refined. And naturally, we're in the loudest, least refined variant, the big V8 powered one. As we're about to take this thing on the highway, as this person in a GMC is driving very slowly, we're going to see what this thing is now like to live with. But of course, before we get on the highway, we need to... Yeah! I can really tell all the sound deadening material that went into this thing. All right, now that we're at safe highway speeds, Chris, let's turn off the performance exhaust and listen for the refinement. And we've both spent a lot of time in our good friend's JL variant Rubicon, so we know what that thing's like to live with. Is this quieter?
I think all things considered, and there is a lot to consider, it is actually, it's a lot quieter. It's pretty quiet.
Ish. You can't fight physics.
Cannot.
It's still a Wrangler. It's still something that you can take the doors and roof off and lower the windshield. But now, at 70 miles an hour, basically highway speeds, you and I don't have to yell at one another from opposite sides of the vehicle.
Yeah, it feels less like I'm in a bunker or a trench, and more like like I'm in a brick that's going down the highway.
No, I mean, joking aside, and you and I like making fun of Jeeps.
Yes.
This is a really interesting product, and it's a product that, while it has gotten far more modern, Jim talked about the big screens and the app connectivity and the 4xe, the mild hybrid set, or sorry, the plug-in hybrid that they have, which is apparently the best-selling plug-in hybrid in the country. It's still a Jeep, right? It still has a steering box versus a traditional steering rack. It still has live axles front and rear. It still is incredibly capable off-road, as you've seen in a lot of the footage. But now they're trying to, with more modern engineering and iterative design, make this a better vehicle to live with every single day. I mean, 4 or 5 or 2 dB doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're doing an hour drive, it does make a difference to your fatigue levels. The big screen on the inside, you can argue whether or not it's a huge plus or a minus, but the software is fast to react. The screen quality is great. All of the cameras on these higher trim level Wranglers are also excellent. Basically they make off-roading idiot proof. And that's one of the things that I do appreciate about Wrangler, and of course, its competitor Bronco, is that off-roading used to be this really difficult thing to do. It took someone willing to potentially risk horribly damaging their vehicle and doing, or living with something totally miserable to live with. And the Wrangler, with technology, is trying to make it easier to do, more accessible, so more people can go out and adventure and live with these things. And I mean, while I'm not the biggest Wrangler person, I mean, anyone who knows what I like in cars, I like sports cars, I like sports sedans, I like rear-wheel drive. But as a truck, I mean, you and I were talking off camera, I have a soft spot for these things. They're really badass.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why everyone wants to buy it, is because it is a sort of mature off-road, I'm going to say mature off-road platform. And yeah, it really does seem like most of the updates are really accessibility. You have a big screen that they point out that you can put trail maps on, so that you're not
getting lost in the wilderness.
Lost in the wilderness. You can now tow. So when you could tow
but you could tow more.
Yeah.
So
well, now when you get lost in the wilderness, now you can have more stuff with you.
Perfect. Final thoughts on the mid-cycle update or refresh to the Jeep Wrangler. So what did they do? Well, they made it safer, quieter, and they massaged the interior to add a bigger screen to the latest generation of Uconnect, which means full Android Automotive. If you own a prior generation Wrangler, should you buy one? Well, if you're coming from a JK, then probably. And if you love Jeep, this is massage the Jeep Wrangler into being a more refined vehicle. But if you never take your vehicle off-road, or if you don't value off-roading, this is still not going to be your cup of tea. Jeep is one of the few brands that's willing to compromise on essentially everything to make sure their vehicles are off-road capable. And as you can see in the video, the Wrangler is still incredible in that regards. So with that, huge thanks to our Jeep reps and of course all of the people we interviewed in this video. They are genuinely very passionate people who do care. So with that, thanks for watching.